fast, stuffing them shits in the safe. Got me a spot out the way. Nigga just trying to be safe.
Let's get to the sports talk.
All right, so we've talked about the teams that have made the most noise, and we've made a lot of noise ourselves, giving our opinions about things. It's time now to play the role of the committee. Who are the 6 teams that are in? Heather, get us started.
Have I started with LSU at number 1 again this week? Number 2, I moved the Buckeyes up. Number 3, Alabama, I dropped them because of the injury to Tua. We'll see how they look moving forward. Number 4, the Sooners. 5, Clemson. And 6, Nittany Lions, moving up at the expense of Wisconsin.
All right, Coach.
Oh, that's good. I'm keeping Alabama at number 1, even though Tua is hurt. Number 2, I'm staying with Ohio State. Number 3, LSU, who I moved up last week. Number 4, Oklahoma. 5, Clemson. I moved Penn State into the mix. I really love what they did yesterday. I think KJ Hamler is a difference maker.
Yep. I like it. I like it. I love to agree with you, Coach, to a T.
What?
Number 1, once again, I don't even need to restate it. But here's the thing. Here's what I'll tell you. You see, Alabama, Ohio State, LSU, Oklahoma, Clemson, Penn State. I have Oklahoma at 4, honestly, just because I believe in poetic justice. And I want to see Jalen Hurts face Alabama in the first round of the playoff. No real other reason besides that. Clemson obviously can climb its way back in there because Alabama has to play LSU eventually anyway.
I still don't understand, though, guys, what the holdup is with LSU. I mean, you're talking about all the Joe Burrow love, and they're doing all these good things, and they got the win at Texas, which, I don't know, Kansas almost got that, too. We'll see where that goes. But, I think they deserve to be number 1.
I'm a big LSU fan. And I couldn't be convinced to switch them in Alabama. But if they beat Alabama, then I'll switch them.
Yeah,
it's true. To this point.
I'm waiting to see.
No, and I'm really, for me, LSU could be up there. Right now, I just have Oklahoma at 4 and Alabama at 1, just because I genuinely would love to see that matchup again, Hurts versus Bama. But you probably have to keep Bama ahead of LSU until LSU doesn't. To Coach's point, Alabama has won how many times in a row? Is it maybe 7 or so? Something ridiculous. So LSU has to go and climb and ascend that mountain. We all want them to. I mean, those that are LSU.
I get it, man. Alabama have plenty of national championships. Right now, who they played, I get it. They won 7 championships. I get it who they is. I'm not taking that away from a good team. But who they played, they haven't played anyone. It's like they have an easy path to the playoffs. Because they haven't played no competition. Only competition they'll get in the SEC championship game. And I feel like it's going to be LSU who they play against. LSU so underrated. Joe Burrow out there having a good season. And they still don't believe in him. How he leading that team to an undefeated season. One step closer to completing the season. He get them to the SEC championship and beat Bama, or he beat Bama before they get there. I want to know they still have LSU underrated. Even if they lose to Alabama. And they still meet them in the SEC championship game, they still have an opportunity to beat them. LSU is so underrated right now. And that's why they having a good year, and that's why they beating a lot of good teams, because we weren't really paying attention to them like that. Yeah, they number 2 in the country, but they stayed the most underrated number 2 program I ever seen. Everyone's still stuck on Alabama. Alabama always going to be a good team, but who have they played? It said that they have an easy path to a playoffs. Don't get wrong, they got all the talent on their team. But still, who have they played? Joe Burrow played good teams and beat them. Ranked teams at that. And still underrated to be number 2. Joe Burrow don't get enough respect what he doing for LSU.
Fans and neutral parties, but yeah, it's interesting.
I want to dig in a bit here on why all of you have Clemson on the outside looking in and Oklahoma in. Why Clemson out and Oklahoma in at this point?
For me, it is the consistency of performance week in and week out, regardless of who they play. And it starts with Jalen Hurts. and his poise, his command, his confidence. I mean, he shows unbelievable leadership ability, and then he can get the ball to CD, the TD, as you called him last week. This guy is so special, but it's Jalen Hurts, and he looks like he reminds me, honestly, now he doesn't think, but his poise on the field of Tom Brady.
Yeah, you live and die by the quarterback in college football. It's that simple. Trevor Lawrence does not look great. Clemson is honestly winning in spite of Trevor Lawrence at times. I mean, you saw him yesterday staring down safeties as they stare back, giving away interceptions again like they were Christmas gifts. And the Louisville defensive backs were glad to take them. So to me, if the quarterback is a conductor, then sooner or later that Clemson train is about to get derailed.
Are we comparing Clemson to the field, or are we comparing them to the own six?
I keep saying that. If you keep playing like this, you bound to get upset sooner or later. Because he haven't strained on his play yet. Trevor Lawrence been playing average. Even though they pulled away late, they could have lost that game because Louisville had a good, consistent quarterback. That's the only reason they pulled that off. Louisville ain't know which quarterback to keep in to get that offense moving. And that's why Clemson stole that win. Trevor Lawrence is playing average right now. Like, I watched that game, he stared down all his wide receivers. And still throw the football and see the guy looking at him throw the football, and he just gave it to him. 2 picks that he stared down. He been playing average. If you keep playing like that, you're bound to get upsetted and you're bound to miss the playoff. It don't matter if you were champions. He went down since last year. Last year he came on the scene and did his job and got them to a championship and won it. This year, he's playing average. He playing like he's a freshman, and he in his sophomore year. His freshman year, he played like he been in college for 3 years. And he playing now like he in his first year. He's playing like an average quarterback right now. They got away with this win because Louisville don't have a quarterback that can move the football like that. They could have lost that game. Because the other team ain't couldn't figure out who their QB could be. Trevor Lawrence got away with one. Because they could have easily lost that game, even though they pulled away late. Now, Jalen Hurts, he has something to prove. That's why you're seeing the consistency every week. Yeah, he had a sluggish game against Texas, but he pulled it off. He got a chip on his shoulder. That's why you're getting the best out of him. Showing he can throw the football, showing he deserved to be a starter in college football. That's why you're getting the consistent out of Jalen Hurts, and that's why Oklahoma on the verge of going back to the playoffs. Because of his play. That consistent will help your team win every week.
That they've had over the past few years.
I think I think human nature in a bit is compared to the past, right? It's hard to forget they're defending national champs and what they did, but the selection committee does not do that. They're not supposed to do that. If you look at Clemson for face value, they look beatable, and that's the difference to me. Everybody else has dominated consistently, to your point, Jim, and I think when you see Trevor Lawrence throw 2 interceptions, those are the kind of mistakes that you're not going to get away with against another defense like Ohio State if they were to be matched up right at this point.
I just want to throw it out there right now. Through 7 games a year ago, Clemson was winning by 28.5 points. Through 7 games this year, they're winning by an average of 28 points. So I wonder if we're not comparing what they've been versus what they are right now and holding that against them. Nobody had Penn State among their top 4. Coach, why not Penn State?
They just haven't cracked that top 4 for me yet. Emotionally, and they're getting close. And there was a point yesterday during the game where I said, you know what, I'm going to have to move them up into the top 4. And then to Michigan's credit, they climbed back in and they showed that toughness. And so that affected me a little bit.
I think you have to wonder how a win against Michigan is going to be viewed at the end of the season, because they're going to play Notre Dame. I think they lose that game. Wisconsin beat Michigan, guys. Now we're heaping the love on Penn State, right? Deservedly so, because it was a good win. It was a tough win. I bet you all those guys are hurting today with the way that game played. But I think that it opens up the door for Penn State to win the East. They could be playing Minnesota in the West, Ohio State. There's still just a lot of scenarios that can evolve.
I love how the game, everything works in tandem. To Heather's point, Wisconsin takes an ugly loss to Illinois. Well, remember, Wisconsin didn't just beat Michigan. They dominated Michigan. So all of a sudden, Penn State at a whiteout at home beats Michigan by 7, really because a guy dropped a pass he should have caught. Now you just wonder, is that win really meaningful? Penn State's undefeated. That is meaningful.
Yes.
But when you look at the signature wins, Oklahoma, they beat Texas. LSU, they beat Texas. They have a couple other signature wins. You look at Penn State, it's where is their signature win? And I don't know that we'll count Michigan as a signature win.
Still obviously time for them to get there, but you're right. Up until this point, we haven't quite seen it just yet.
What's up? Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. Don't forget to download the